My dad asked to borrow my car, then he sells it without me knowing. Oh yeah, guys, by the way, it's not even paid off yet. That's the first story we're going to kick it off with. Stick around to the end for one of the craziest Karen stories you've ever heard. This was a long time ago. I hardly have any contact with the part of the family anymore. But I do still talk to my dad once in a while. My dad needed a car for a while, so I loaned him mine. When I went back to get the car, the back end was smashed in. My dad tells me how he was at a red light and the car was rear-ended. Of course. I asked the normal questions about fault and insurance and everything else. He tells me the other guy's insurance company sent him a check for the damages, but it wasn't enough to cover the repairs. Sounds like a lie. So, he did not get the car repaired. Instead, he spent the money. My dad and I have the same first and last name, but a different middle name, so it's easy to see how he could claim the car was his and have the check written to him also. When I told my dad that he should have just let me know about the accident and let me handle the claim, he says this quote, "Why should you get anything? You weren't even in an accident. I was." Well, we had an argument about this, but none of my dad's arguments was even anywhere close to being valid. He also just wasn't hearing any of what I had to say. I asked my dad to leave the car at his house for a few days and said I would arrange to have it picked up and repaired. A couple days later, I went to his house, but I didn't see the car. I just thought he wasn't home. When I knocked, he answered. My younger brother was also there, which was surprising because he was supposed to be away at college, which I was helping pay for, but that's another story. I told my dad I was there to pick up the car, and he says that's impossible because he just sold it. I ask him, why would you do that? He says, quote, "You seem so pissed off about the damage. I figured you just want me to go ahead and sell it so you did not have to deal with it anymore." I was making payments on the car and asked my dad how he could have sold it without the title. He told me he just had a guy fill out a lost title form or something like that. I don't even know the details on it. I told him that I thought it was going to be a problem when the guy tries to register the car and find out there's a lien on the car. My dad says, "That's the buyer's problem, not mine." When I asked how much he got for it, he told me $3,000. Even with the damage, it was worth at least $7,000, but definitely no less than $5,000. I asked my dad for the money and he told me he already spent it. Then he goes into his rant about how many bills he has and how he's even paying for my brother's college, which is not even true. Plus, my brother was sitting right there. He dropped out but did not tell me, even though he kept cashing the checks I sent. I had very little contact with my parents after that, and I think I only actually saw them one time since then, which was around the time I got married. But not at the wedding because they refused to go. None of this was all that surprising though. I never should have ever loaned the car to my dad in the first place. Okay guys, so that was a wild opening story. The first thing I would have done if I was OP would be to claim fraud. Contact the police. I mean, what kind of person tries to sell a car with a lien on it? There was one similar story in the comment section, and I want to share that story now. So it says, "My mother stole about 10 grand from me when I was 22-ish. I didn't do legal action because it wouldn't have done shit to her. Maybe criminal, sure, but every dollar legal fee would have came from the oblivious stepdad. Then everyone she knows would think I'm a terrible human for, quote, making stuff up about her and sending her to jail because narcissistic pieces of crap just don't give a crap about you." What do you guys make of this story? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. There's still 3 more stories left in today's video, so let's jump into story 2 right now. So basically, where I'm from, a lot of kids have went back to school one day a week, and the other day my little cousin went back. It was 5, so I decided to pick her up from school and take her to get something to eat. Because, well, her mom was taking her brother to work, so after getting a McDonald's, I take her down to get the ice cream parlor and across to the park. Well, here comes entitled mom and entitled kid. I also should mention me and B, which we'll call cousin, do look similar, and she has been mistaken me for being my child before. And I also have one of those baby faces. So, anyways, we're just sitting and enjoying our ice cream when this happens. Entitled kid, "Mommy, I want ice cream like that little girl." Points at my cousin, who is completely oblivious. Entitled mother comes up with an excuse. Where did you get the ice cream?" Mind you, this place is the only ice cream shop that is entirely based on ice cream and desserts. "Oh, at Scoops, the store right behind you." "Could you give me some change to get some? I only have my card." Sorry, I don't have any money left. We just got dinner and there's a machine right over there and they take card." "Yes, but I don't have any money, and I'm sure you can at least afford to give us some change." Sorry, like I said, I've spent all my money on our dinner." By this point, my cousin B has gone to play. "Well, aren't you just a little beep? You've got a child, and at your age, no wonder you don't have any money. I bet the dad left you as soon as he found out about your little child." At this point, I'm laughing, and I decide to play around with her. Well, actually, her dad is around. He's working right now. "Well, you're still a beep for having a child so young, and if he's working, why can't you get money?" I decided not to bother her by this time. I know that every time I shout out on B to come to me, she'll run and shout my name so I can catch her. So, "B, come here, princess." She comes running to me shouting, "Gina!" seeing as she can't say my full name yet. And I catch her, and then I say, "Who's your favorite cousin?" "You and L." I looked at the entitled mother, and her face was a picture I could not stop laughing. Then she just storms off. Okay, guys, so I'm not gonna lie. Probably my favorite type of story to read is when an entitled person gets completely owned. Let me know what you guys think of the last story in the comment section down below. The next story, guys, is a wild ride. I'm just gonna tell you the title. My mother thinks I should become a stripper. Alright guys, if you're enjoying today's video, make sure you press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop some love down in the comment section. Let's get ready for story 3, right this second. Quick little backstory. I have one brother and one sister. I'm a male, by the way. I'm the oldest of the bunch. My brother is about 2 years younger, and my sister is just about 1 year younger. At the time of this story, we all have been pretty good incomes. Not tooting my own horn, but honestly, I had the best. My sister, she had the worst. She was consistently borrowing money from either me or my mom. She did not waste it on things like drugs, but she did not have enough income, and she had to pay a hefty amount of rent. So, on to the cast. I won't really have a cast for this one. I'll just call people either mom or sister, etc. So, here we go. I knew my sister was looking for ways she could make more money. She was kind of desperate. At this point, I was helping her out. She was intelligent enough for a better job. Then, one day, I found her a solid-looking job and asked her if she wanted to go for an interview for it. She met all the requirements. She said no. I was pretty confused because why would you turn down something like that? But she did not accept it, and she quit the job she already had. So now I knew something had to be up. I came over to her place and asked her, and she tried to deny everything at first. But then she just let loose. She kind of just regretfully told me she was trying out stripping. I was silent. I was thinking about it, and honestly, the thought that she might have done this had crossed my mind before. I didn't know whether to be mad, sympathetic. I decided to not be mad. She begged me not to tell her mom, so I did not. I just told her to not do anything stupid. And then I kind of became her partner. I would drive her to places I shouldn't have been. I would make sure she got home all right, and I was the only one who knew what she did. I never really saw what she was doing, I just knew. Soon, our mom found out. I could say it was through my sister, but I honestly forgot how she found out. and my mom kind of freaked out. She called my sisters all kind of slurs, calling her a failure, saying she would disown her. My sister was crying. It was bad. And then it seemed like everything changed when sister told our mom about how much money she made. Although I don't like admitting it, it was more than what I made. Let me just say, she made a lot. Like, a lot. My mother was dumbfounded. And then, wouldn't you guess, she became my mom's angel. She ignored all my sister did wrong and focused on the money she had made instead. She would always brag about her to relatives, saying she worked hard and deserved it. And the worst part, my mom now acted like I was a failure and that I should make as much money as my sister. It makes me remember why I was so eager to move out. Now, let me just say my sister was incredibly supportive. She offered me a bunch of money. I declined most. I only accepted a bit for driving her for, favors. Nothing for no reason. So, let's get that out of the way. Now, I was mad at my mom. I would not talk to her if I did not have to. I was disappointed that she felt like that, and it made me embarrassed. My mom constantly bugged me. I should make more money. I should get a job like my sister. I should do as well as my sister. It was so bad. How do you be proud of that? So yeah, that's what happened. Now my brother was kind of ignored throughout this. She decided to focus on me, which sucks, but what do you do about it? Now, a few months later, my sister quit that job. She found a better job and she never had any bad accidents or things like drug addictions. Me and my sister remained friends throughout the whole situation, and now everyone just pretends to forget what happened. No, I don't blame her. Not really. She needed the money, so she did what she did. Obviously, I don't encourage it, but she did not spend her money on things like drugs and alcohol, so she kept her head level a bit. I blame my mom, though. She was annoying as hell. Alright guys, so what do you make of that story? In my opinion, the mother was extremely hypocritical. I mean, she was so judgmental to her own daughter, and then she found out about the money and she just seemed to flip her tune. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about this one in the comment section below. There's one comment I want to read before we jump into the final story of the day. It says, "Hey, it may not be a clean job or a safe job, but she did do it to make a living and now she has a better job. She probably wasn't proud of it, but you made sure she was safe. You're a good big brother for helping with those simple favors." Do you guys agree with that comment, or have you been in any similar situation? Drop your thoughts down below, guys, and we're going to hop into the final story of the day. And remember, it's cool to be kind. So, I worked as a cinema technician for quite a few years, and I've had my run-ins with entitled parents. Corona has given me an ample time to reflect on those meetings, and here's one of them. So, in the summer, my country gets quite a lot of tourists, especially American ones. They're often visiting to see where other families come from and that sort of stuff, and they're generally nice. Most of them. Not this Karen. She was different. She, her husband, and their entitled kid came in the cinema in the middle of the day. There were very few people since we Norwegians like to get our sun whenever it pops up. Normally, when Americans come into the kiosk to buy something, they ask, "So, you speak English?" And I say I do, and we continue the transaction in English. Fair enough. I sort of reacted when Karen did not ask me if I spoke English, but I do so no harm. She wanted to see a children's movie because of the entitled kid. I said all of them were dubbed. After explaining to a now slightly irritated Karen what dubbing means, she became a little angry. I told her a movie was starting in about an hour, and that movie was in English, and her kid could get in with her. She complained a little more, and I ended it with slamming some money on the register and demanding free popcorn goblet for their time that I wasted. Which she did not get. After about an hour, I hear screaming, coming from the entrance of the auditorium. I, of course, run to see what's up, and I see Karen really yelling at my coworker. Now, my coworker at the time was a very old man, a very old Norwegian man. Fun fact about Norway, most of us speak English, but a lot of the older people here don't. The part in Norwegian is what I would say to my coworkers, and the part in English is what I would say to Karen. What's wrong? Can she find the auditorium? I don't know. I think she asked me something, and I tried to say I don't speak English. Karen says, "Excuse me, this man refuses to accommodate us." How, ma'am? He refuses to speak English. English. Ma'am, he doesn't speak English, he speaks Norwegian. How can he not speak English? This is terrible customer service, and he's scaring my child. Oh, I'm sorry, but you're in Norway, and a part of the population doesn't... I demand to speak to your manager. I'm sorry, but that won't be possible. Why not? Because, well, he is the manager, gesturing to the older coworker. She tried to insist I call an actual manager, but my coworker was the only manager available. That wouldn't be possible anyways. She and the entitled kid went in to see their movie. After the movie, they came to the kiosk and demanded a refund because the subtitles were in the way. Which they of course did not get. She was easily my weirdest and rudest American.